The leak sent shockwaves throughout the country, and if eventually handed down as a decision of the court, which looks likely, could have ramifications for access to abortions in large parts of the nation, striking down a federal right in existence for almost 50 years.
That states that have already, and I think there are about 30 of them, that have already passed abortion restriction laws will do so with full gusto. Samuel Alito, the judge who wrote the decision, if this is authentic, has written it in a full throttle, as somebody described it, very muscular way. So it's very clear that these states now have the authority from the United States Supreme Court to pass these laws. The problem is that many of these laws do not have exceptions for rape or for incest. And it raises real questions about those, even if it's a small proportion of people, to have those rights. So that's the first thing. The second is that, of course, the states like New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, the liberal states, will strengthen their abortion laws. And so you'll have a divided country.
The decision, if confirmed, could open the doorway for conservative-leaning states to ban the practice outright.
We're about to make it law.
With some already with constitutional amendments on the books, protecting the life of every unborn child from conception until birth. Laws deemed unconstitutional due to the Roe v. Wade decision of 1973, which superseded state laws.
Roe wasn't settled politically. It may have been settled law, but it wasn't settled politically. The problem is that, as with other kinds of legislation to enforce rights, like the racial legislation, if you think of Brown versus Board of Education, to ensure that rights under the Constitution are properly enforced, the courts have to step in. And so if this decision does overturn Roe, it does send it back to the legislature, and it goes back to the age-old problem in the United States about judges, the judiciary versus the legislature, who is elected, who is appointed, who represents the will of the people, and so on. But I think it is correct as a factual matter that the issue was making its way through the courts, and it wasn't settled, and now it's going to be something that people have to fight about again, 50 years later.
Additionally, the leak, almost unheard of from the nation's highest court, has raised eyebrows and questions about the credibility of the institution and its processes.
The United States Supreme Court has always been an institution that probably has the most credibility and legitimacy in the country. And we've seen a fading, the loss of credibility of institutions. So I think that this leak is going to impact the way that Americans see the legitimacy of the Supreme Court.
A rare breach of the court's secrecy around internal deliberations that could yet, if handed down, have far-reaching implications for a woman's right to choose, based largely on which region of the country she might find herself faced with such a life-changing decision. Shervin Bryceby's SABC News, New York.